lots of different scenarios, and there's plenty of scenarios where you wouldn't choose to throw a weapon. What we train here is to make throws from between 4 feet and 8 feet on the move and at static and dynamic targets. The important thing to remember is we use common sense. This is a common sense approach to combat knife throwing. You have to remember and really think about this, and I want you to use your own common sense. You don't have to be an expert knife thrower. You don't have to be an expert martial artist to know that if you put somebody 20 feet away from you, just think in your mind, can I hit them with something from 20 feet away in a vital area like the eye or the throat all the time? Can you do that from 25 feet away? Well, if they're standing still, you might be able to do that. However, as soon as you make a motion forward, trust me, that target will move. If it's a person, if it's a person, that opponent, that enemy, that attacker will move as soon as you make a motion forward. They'll move one way or the other. And once you begin your throw, you can hold up your throw if they start to move. But once you let go, there's a distance of 20 feet that weapon has to travel, and in that time, your opponent's going to move. They're going to get out of the way. You will not hit them unless you are some kind of mind reader or something. You might be able to do that. And sure, we can train for certain opponents we know, like in boxing. Somebody will drop their left hand all the time when they throw a right, whatever it is, and you can time that and counterpunch. But you have when you're in, the reality is you don't have time to train or prepare for a specific attacker. You don't know how an attacker is going to move. So you want to train to throw at moving targets, but at moving targets that are controlled by someone else. Now, if you just swing a target back and forth, even when it's spinning around, with training, you can get really proficient at that, and you can get really good, even from farther distances. But the one constant, the one thing about a moving target that swings back and forth or spins around or throwing up a can in the air and sticking it with a knife and into the target, that's all about timing. And you can train to a very high level. Not easy. It's an amazing amount of skill to be able to do that, but you know where if you throw up a can or a hat or a plate or whatever it is, you know where it's going to go. As soon as you let go of it, it's going to travel in a known path. And same can be said for a target that's spinning back and forth. The thrower has a target that has a known path by the thrower. The thrower knows the path the target's going to take. Even if the target's spinning like that, the thrower still knows the path that target's taking and can time it. So that's about timing, and we train that here too. But the best way to train for reality combat knife throwing and in self-defense situations against an attacker that you have no idea which way they're going to move is to train with someone who has a target that they control, not you, and see how good you can do. And I think if you use common sense, you can tell that the only way to really do that is to be able to set it up as a sparring match where you can actually move against the person that's moving the target. You can move with the target, away from the target, with the target side, laterally, however you move, and make those throws. See how well you do. What I challenge you to do is set a target up somehow. What we do here is we put a balloon on the end of a 20-foot rod, and we have somebody else control it. And I will tell you that it's difficult. You can't do that. You will have to close the distance. You'll have to get up close enough to about 4 feet to make your throw. And the thing is, you have to be able to throw, be able to reach in if they retreat, fall back if they advance, they move laterally, diagonally. You're going to have to train to make all those kinds of throws at a moving target that moves in an unknown path. And the only way to do that is to have somebody else control the movement of the target. I want you to start really, really slow. These might not even stick because I'm going to throw them so softly. I want you to have the target at 2 o'clock, throw very softly, only about 4 feet away, really, because that's going to be a combat-ready distance. You don't want to be farther away. If you're that far away and you thought you needed to make a throw because you had a bigger opponent, a stronger opponent, a more skilled opponent, or a keen warrior, you need to close the distance until you can make the throw. You won't be able to make an accurate throw that'll take down where you need to hit the eye, get it straight into gray matter or into the throat. It's not going to happen from beyond 10 feet. I've never seen anyone with that kind of skill that kind of accuracy, throwing at a target that moves in an unknown path. I've seen throwers throw at moving targets with a great amount of skill, but not at a target that moves in an unknown path. And that's what an enemy or attacker does. It moves really in an unknown path. Because I want you to throw soft. We can throw hard, bam, but that we're not going to do it that hard at first. Because if you do that, it will bounce back and it'll hurt you. We don't want to do that, okay? Easy. Finger on top. Finger on top. Nice and easy. Nice and easy. Then you really want to blast it. Bam! Eventually you want to blast it like that. That's some serious penetration right there. And remember, you got to make those throws quick. You got to close the distance and make those throws quick. And you never leave yourself unarmed. You always have something else to fight with. We use a fighting tomahawk like this. It's used to block, strike, left hooks. We can make any strike with this. And we can also transfer it to throw, a blade back throw. Just like that. But again, even with the tomahawk, nice and easy in the beginning. Nice and easy. Just like that. That's all you have to do, because you don't want it bouncing back at you in the beginning. Nice and easy. That's all you have to do in the beginning. And you'll be good to go. You can also use a thumb on the top. I like this one a little better, because this transfers more into a fighting, a reasonable, reliable fighting grip as well, and a hammer grip you could use too. But I was just using this rather than this. But in the beginning, you can use this. But this thumb on the top, try to use that nice and easy. Again, nice and easy, just like that. Nice and easy. Nice and easy, just like that. And eventually you want to get that pop right in there. Right. That'll take somebody down, right? Pop. Pop. That's after a while. Trust me, they will bounce. All right, but that's the kind of speed you want. Pop. It's kind of speed penetration you want. For the top. Pop. And they got to be quick. All these throws got to be quick. Because they're going to move as soon as you, and that's the other thing I think I talked about a little bit in another clip I did for you. If you start here, if you're starting here, and you throw from here, you can't throw that. You can throw it like that, but that's not going to hurt anybody, right? You have to bring it back to throw it. So we want to start here. Start here, boom, one motion forward, one motion forward, one motion forward. If we start here like this, as soon as we bring it back from this distance, they're all over us. All right, so we don't want to do that. We want to strike hard, quick, and fast. And we can block and defend with this, but we need to strike quick, hard, and fast. And escape. Or return to fight. All right, we're going to try to get 6 points into the target in less than a half a second. And we're going to start the timer from the point of motion forward toward the target. Not the point of release, but the point of motion forward. Because that's when a dynamic target is going to start to move. When you move, they're going to move. So we got to get it there in less than a second. Hopefully less than half a second. 6 points is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 points. That's 9 points into the target. Hopefully that's less than half a second. Even using a no reload method, if you have 3 or 4 knives in each hand, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or faster. But still, it's going to take at least 1.5 to 2 seconds, maybe just under 2 seconds, which is too long. We need to get that many points into the target, 6 to 9 points into the target in a minimum of half a second. And again, the way to time that is not at release, but at the motion forward. So we'll talk about that more at class. There's a lot to this as far as spatial awareness and effective fighting zone, and the loaded ready stance. But we'll get to that at class, and we'll talk a lot more about this in depth. And throw with either a finger on top or a thumb on top. But what I'd like to see you do is, for the tomahawk, I want you to use what we call a Fudo-Ken grip, the immovable fist hammer grip for the tomahawk. And we use that grip because it's a sturdy fighting grip as well. You know, if you're going to fight with this hawk, you know, you can just go up. But this is a fighting grip that can transfer into fighting hand to hand or for throwing. And with a hammer grip, the spin will be faster, which will move you closer to the target, which is always good. For knife, I would recommend a thumb on top. Not the thumb on top with this because it's kind of a loose grip. It can be taken away real easy out of your hand, and you can see that just by holding on to it yourself. You can see a hammer grip is a lot sturdier than a thumb on a top. Now that's a little different with the knife. The knife is a little different. This is a reasonable grip for a knife to fight with. If you hold it to fight with it, this is a reasonable grip. And it's also a reasonable grip, the hammer grip. However, when you throw the knife, for throwing purposes, a thumb on top is better. So this will transfer into fighting as well as throwing. So I would recommend for now, just for now, in the beginning stages, get used to throwing with a thumb on the top. And I would recommend also getting used to throwing a spike. These are easy to conceal, and you would throw that the same way, and we call it Shito Ken, the driven thumb grip, thumb on the top grip. That'll slow the spin just enough to make these throws. But you have to be very careful. I'm going to train. I would recommend training these throws from 4 feet away. That's it. Now we're not talking about the art. We're not talking about sport. We're not talking about entertaining or anything else. We're talking about combat. If an opponent is 10 feet away, you're not going to throw anything at him anyway. And the chances of you hitting a vital area like the eye, would have to go in the eye or the throat, that's not going to work. You got to remember that the knife is going to turn. It's going to turn. The spike or knife is going to turn. We call it no spin, but it's still turning a quarter spin. So to get a vital area like the eye, it would have to actually go straight enough that it would actually penetrate. But that's unreasonable to throw beyond 4 feet. Even at 4 feet, we got to remember that as soon as you make a move forward, any body movement forward to an attacker, they're going to move. As soon as you become dynamic, they might be static, but they will become dynamic immediately when you do. So they're going to move one way or the other. So up close, if you strike fast and hard, you could make that throw before they move. And even if they move, you could still hit them. Now the best, I think a better weapon is a tomahawk. It's something that you can carry in the belt or in a sheath around the home and on your own property, so it's always available. The tomahawk that I designed, I use in the offhand, the guard hand as well. We can use these for strikes. You can do any punch, uppercut, left hook, jab, but it's important that the striking point is right there. We can use these. We can use these for blocks. We can block all different ways. Boom. But we always want to make sure we're bracing our block, bracing our block, bracing our block, because we have a blade here facing it in this system, and we have to always make sure all our strikes our right hand is always up if we're right-handed. We're striking and this hand's always up. Somebody overwhelms us and pushes this back on us. We have to be able to stop that. So yeah, that's used to strike and to transfer to throw. It's a good transfer, holding it like this. It's important. Now the throws I want you to train I want you to train up close. Stay a little to the left of the target. Keep the target about 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. And throw very slow. These are the throws. You're just going to reach in and let it go. Now the distance we want to be away, I'm saying about 4 feet. The distance you really want to be away from is you want to be at a distance where your opponent can't kick you. The leg is longer than the arm, obviously. So it's usually if you're training with someone, have them stand away from you and reach their arm out and touch fists. If you could touch fist, you need to back up a little bit. It's usually about 1.5 arms away, because if you could touch fists, he might not be able to hit you in the face with a fist, but if you can touch fists, he can hit you with a kick you in the head. So we want to back up a little bit. I would say 1.5 arms length away. That's where I usually throw from. This is for combat throws. That's all. I want to throw slow, very slow. At first. After a while, we got to bump up the power. We need explosive power. But in the beginning, I just want you to throw really, really slow. I'm going to throw slow. It might not even stick. but this is how slow I want you to throw. And we throw this slow because you have to build some feel for these throws. And they're very dangerous if you throw them too hard. But once you start sticking them all the time, you'll get a feel for it. But try to stay an arm and a half length away from the face of the target for now. And I'll show you this driven thumb grip with a spike. You just throw straight over the top, boom. That's all I want you to do, just like that. And if that bounces off, it won't hurt you. That's all I want you to do with the spike. And with the knife, the same thing, boom. That's all, nice and easy, nice and easy. And they're different sizes, so you could throw them from the same spot. And the Tomahawk, same thing. Boom. I'll throw it nice and slow. But after a while, how you want to build up, and the other thing to remember too is you want to be in this ready stance. I call it a loaded ready stance. We have to be like, you have to have this back here. We have to have the weapon that we're going to throw has to be all the way back. And this puts you ready to throw. Not only that, but this is what I call a postural deterrent. If you show up like this to an attacker, I doubt they're going to rush you. You don't know, but you know, if they're high on something, they might. But this loaded ready stance does two things. It does lots of different things. But one thing it does, again, it's what I call a postural deterrent. This should be enough to slow the attacker, or make them think anyway. The other thing is, if you're in a loaded ready stance like this, if I have the weapon down here, whether it's tomahawk or knife or whatever it is, and they're 6 feet away, if I'm going to throw this, by the time I bring it up to throw it, you know, I can throw it like that, I guess, but if by the time I bring it up like this to throw it, they'll be right up on you. You have to start here, and the throws have to be bam, quick. Got to be quick. Got to be quick. Even if they advance, you're going to have to be able to move back to make those throws, to create separation. Boom, to make your throw. They retreat, and you know they're still going to come back and do you harm. You need to reach way in. But for now, we're just going to make these throws. But remember, that's really important. A really important part of this system is to throw from way back here, as far back as you would throw. If you're going to take your normal throws like this, boom, start back here. Start back here, just like this. Start with your weapon as far back, the one you're going to throw with, as far back as you can. That way, the only thing you have is from here to here, not from here to here to here. From here to here, they're up on you. You won't have time to throw. So remember, keep that weapon back and be ready. The legs flexed, everything ready to go. Not tight, but flexed. So in Sasori form, hawk, knife, I make my initial throw. My second move is to draw, be ready to fight. So now I have two weapons, strike, and I have another weapon in my right hand. So I was able to throw, but I still have weapons. We never throw away our last weapon. Another Sasori form drill is throw. We're here, transfer, make a second throw. Now we're not unarmed. We still have a weapon. We never leave ourselves unarmed. You can throw this thing too. You can throw that, but we still have another weapon. Never leave yourself unarmed.